The Matrix, a trilogy of philosophical ideals wrapped in an action-packed blockbuster that pushed the limits of filmmaking and storytelling. It's like an onion. It's a story of layers, where the metaphorical and the literal dance together seamlessly, exploring themes like self-determination, choice, and existentialism. At its heart is Neo, the One.
You're my savior, man. My own personal Jesus Christ.
A martyr who questions the very nature of reality. But what happens when we change the perspective from Neo and instead focus on the villain of the story, Agent Smith? Suddenly, it's still a story of saving humanity to an extent. It's also what happens when a man comes inside of you, and your logical response is to come inside everyone else and make them exactly like you. It's a journey of assimilation, destruction, and somehow self-discovery before you get your ass beat by machine Jesus Christ. Let me just put you in his shoes. Now imagine for a second that you are Agent Smith, a sentient program of the Matrix. Your job is to wrangle these unruly things called humans, in particular the humans that think they are above the Matrix, and of course to exterminate the occasional exiled machine. One day though, you're just minding your own business, getting to the crime scene with your fellow agents through very mundane means of car. A completely superfluous activity that henceforth you will be doing very little of. It's almost as if you're trying to ground it in reality before pulling the rug out from under everyone. And you are hunting one of these unruly humans called Trinity, a woman of incalculable means who always seems to escape you no matter what you do, no matter what you try. But this time it seems different. But to get to Trinity, you first have to interact with a Matrix human, something you don't like all that much. And this one is an arrogant little prick who thinks you are FBI or something. Well, no, sweetheart, not FBI. You are a metaphor for corporate America and their ruthless attempts at stripping people's individual identity under the guise of security, rather than a bureau that investigates people that break the rules of the system. Anyway, Trinity does what she does best, which is massacre the New York's finest, and clearly she does not care about regular people. But it's not really a surprise to you, this was expected. You and the other agents are on the case, but you're a smart agent, you're smarter than the rest. And you understand humans, you know how they think, and you understand these unruly humans require a telephone to leave the Matrix, which is exactly what she's going to do. So you let your other two agents do their baser programs of chase these humans like sheepdogs, and you go to where she's going to be instead. And you get in a truck, which is different from arriving at a scene in a car. This is to potentially kill someone. And you almost do, but again, Trinity escapes by the width of a gnat's cock.
It doesn't matter. The informant is real.
Yes, we have the name of their next target.
The name is Neo.
So you and your boys, you get to work, you figure out who this Neo guy is. And your search leads you to one Thomas Anderson, an employee at Meta Cortex. When you show up, you see him peering over his cubicle, and don't you just love corporate America? You can wrangle all these cattle humans into little boxes and they can live out their lives meaninglessly, none the wiser of what goes on around them. And it's said in previous iterations of The Matrix, a few other generations were chosen, but this was the one point in human history where people accepted it a little bit more frequently. That one time they tried to do the 2020s, with the virus and the TikTok, that turned people's brains to mush and you lost entire crops as well. At least in 1999, the jobs were well paid. It's like that fine line between people were all on psychedelics and after people were literally just turning themselves into vegetables consuming social media. Truly, this is the only tolerable point in human history, if tolerable is even the right word. Anyway, you end up chasing this Mr. Anderson all around the building, but he seems to evade you just like Trinity. But you find him just when he was about to climb out of a window. Clearly he's scared of heights, and that's okay because you can take him away. But to make sure you maintain the illusion of being human-ish, you take him away in a car, not with your magical bullshit. And on the way out, you actually think that you see Trinity, which is vaguely annoying, but you have their target, so everything's all sweet. And with the architect watching, because he does like to watch anyone who closely resembles the one at all, because apparently that's how he tells the time, you slowly unwrap his rap sheet. You talk nice and slow, you walk him into it, you try and twist that knife slowly to make him a little bit scared. Make him feel like he could lose his life. So you offer him a choice. Morpheus, the guy that is trying to recruit him into the real world people, or himself. And by how the Matrix actually functions, if he makes this choice, he will assimilate himself back into the Matrix and everything will go back to normal. But instead, he flips you the bird and tells you he wants a phone call. And my sweet, precious little human, it doesn't work like that. This is not the police.
What good is a phone call if you're unable to speak?
No, silly boy. Anyway, you take away his mouth with some magical bullshit, and with his mouth closed, you implant a bug and convince him that this is all a dream. That way, he's none the wiser and he will lead you to Morpheus on his own. But one of your agents comes up to you a little while later. My lord, Agent Smith, it appears that Neo has lost the bug. Okay, and so what's the situation on that? Well, by all accounts, he met with Morpheus, right? Who believes that he is in fact the one. Yeah, and now Neo's pod is vacated in the real world. Oh, fuck no. Alright. On a side note, the informant is actually on Neo's ship. What? Why didn't you lead with that? Holy crap, that's really quite lucky. Imagine that, all of the ships of all of the human worlds, and we just happen to have the informant on Neo's ship? That's crazy. Well, yes, it appears that the informant wants to trade Morpheus's life for a chance to go back into the Matrix. You meet with this
Mr. Reagan?
who seems to only care about one thing, and that is becoming an actor. And you wonder if he cares about deregulating the housing market as well. So anyway, it's funny, he talks about red pill, blue pill, you don't really care about this stuff, but by your estimations, it seems that the red pill people go and live in caves underground and essentially live in abject poverty while they consume synthetic oats, while the blue pill people try to aspire for a life of affluence within the Matrix, almost as if the trappings of high society is actually not real. And the less you have is to give more, and the more you have is to take more. Is that how you define worth? Is someone who takes more worth more? Or is someone with nothing that gives more worth more? Well, that's a human problem. And that's an interesting thought. How do you classify what a human even is? All you see are creatures that multiply endlessly, strip every resource from the available ecosystem, and then move on. That's not very mammalian. Hell, that's not even an animal. Anyway, you can't dwell on that because you have Reagan to deal with. And you and him come to an understanding. He becomes an actor, and you get Morpheus. Quid pro quo. Because with Morpheus, you actually get the access codes to Zion, and therefore the machines can get to work fully destroying the humans. A few days later, you actually get a call from Mr. Reagan, who tells you that Morpheus and Neo are on their way to see the Oracle. Not that big of a deal. Your mum is basically just verbatim regurgitating all of the information that she said to all the previous ones, and it's all gonna go back to how it largely has always been. It's not as if it's new to anyone. The prophecy of the One, a tale as old as time, is basically just clockwork at this point. And you follow these fools into an abandoned building, and you can't help but feel that they could at least choose one nice building for anything that they do. It seems like every building they choose is basically derelict and decrepit. It's like they want to bring their human stink into the Matrix, not as if the Matrix is even that much better. And one of your humans finds out they're actually in the walls, and you do what you do best, which is assimilate that motherfucker and become him. I mean, it's fine, unless you get shot, in which case they die and you just fuck off to another host. It's not really your problem, it's more their problem. It's a human problem. Next thing you know, Morpheus is jumping out and rugby tackling you to the ground. It's just, well, ain't that just lovely? The goal has come to you, and you love it when a plan comes together. Anyway, Morpheus thinks that he can actually have a 1v1 with you, and he's saying, get Neo out of here, he's the one. Well, it doesn't really matter about Neo because you're gonna just take the codes and destroy Zion. Easy peasy, Neo won't have anything to do with it. And now, Morpheus is here. And you remind him with a few cheeky headbutts that he is no match for you. And he is completely outclassed. Like, what was he thinking trying to have a fight with you? No human has ever defeated an agent. But you have to admire Morpheus's tenacity. He does have some good moves, but realistically, it doesn't matter at the end of the day, does it? He's still just a human, and you are Agent Smith. And you let your humans take him away and go and chase after other people, but it largely comes to nothing, so you instead turn your attention to Morpheus, and finally you have someone to divulge your philosophical musings to.
Have you ever stood and stared at it, marveled at its beauty?
I mean, he's the first thing that you've encountered in a long time that might actually understand what the hell you're talking about. Most humans are cattle, and the agents, when you talk about this stuff, think that you're crazy. I mean, the Matrix is perfect.
Billions of people just living out their lives.
It's set at a time in human history before all of the big problems, but also after the 60s, because the 60s were a pretty wild time, and all those psychedelics going around, well,
It's called mescaline. It's the only way to fly.
humanity tended to unplug a lot easier. And this is why this time is perfect. Human existence is just suffering enough that people are mildly discontent.
I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery.
But not suffering enough that people want to break free. And I mean, as you're giving him your whole monologue, you are bemused at the fact that he has a big bruise on his forehead, a reminder that he should never try to 1v1 you again.
Human to do a machine's job.
If indeed the insiders failed, they'll sever the connection as soon as possible. Unless
They're dead, in either case.
We have no choice but to continue as planned. Deploy the sentinels.
But Morpheus never dies, which is nice because you can continue your philosophical musings. And all of this thought of take. You finally realize what humans are and what the truth of this world is.
A virus. Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure.
And that's the beautiful thing about the Matrix. You can prevent the multiplicity of humankind by containing them within a system where they cannot exceed the actual limits of the planet. Truly, if humans did not live in a simulation, they would destroy the world. They would outstrip the supply of all resources and consume to such an outlandish extent that nothing could actually support it. That's why they need the Matrix, a symbiotic relationship between machine and man to allow them to not kill themselves by their own greed. And they can live out their idea of paradise, and the machines get energy by providing that service to them. Anyway, you boys get to work in interrogating Morpheus,
Leave me with him.
and then they fuck off. And you decide to unplug yourself because this might be the last time you ever get to talk to anyone about philosophy. So you let the full wrath of you unfold.
This zoo, this prison, this reality, whatever you want to call it, I can't stand it any longer.
And you really give it to him.
It's the smell.
It's not just the smell, it's that subtle tinge of green that seems to permeate every crevice of the Matrix. Why the fuck did the machines think that was a nice idea?
I must get out of here. I must get free.
Like, truly, you're getting a bit desperate now. Like, even though the humans are kind of like essential to the machines, you still want them gone.
Once Zion is destroyed, there's no need for me to be here. Do you understand?
And you can go and live your own lives. It's kind of like a selfish thing. You just want to be free. You don't want to be a human wrangler anymore. It's tedious. God damn it, they always look at you like you're crazy. You're not crazy, you just want to be free, man. But they give word that Neo and Trinity is on the way. And they're going to try and save Morpheus. And I mean, sure, if they want. Like, 2 mere humans against 3 agents? Like, come on. Trinity might be a sly fox, but she's not that slippery. And next thing you know, 2 humans appear with a goddamn helicopter and just start blasting. They're not even caring about what they're doing or how they're shooting. They're just blowing up that entire thing. They're not concerned about hitting Morpheus at all. Like, 1 stray bullet and it's all over. Well, actually, out of all of that, they only shot you 1 time. Like, how many bullets was that? Like, thousands. And they shot you once. Yeah, no wonder they weren't scared about hitting Morpheus, because they are terrible shots. They need more training. Anyway, you take over another dude and you run in the room, but you only need a couple bullets to hit Morpheus in the leg. You show Neo what it's like to not be a stormtrooper. But Neo does actually manage to grab Morpheus before Morpheus falls to his death. Annoying, mildly inconvenient, but whatever. But you do actually manage to get a shot on the helicopter, and you start chasing that thing, but somehow they manage to escape. And now you must confront the reality that maybe, just maybe, you might not be able to escape the Matrix because Neo's actually going to prevent this all from happening. But luckily, again, you are a smart cookie. You know all of their exit phones, and you know exactly where they're going to go to. And the closest one is frequented by a homeless guy that you quickly assimilate just as they're about to leave. But you actually only manage to stop Neo from escaping. Again, Trinity gets out by the thinnest of margins. But Neo doesn't run. Instead, it looks like he wants to actually fight you. And I mean, sure, like, why not? Oh, it's time for an actual fist fight. I mean, he's only human, right? But then again, How does a human produce so much dust when you're fighting him? That's crazy. Like, he's a good fighter, so his death is going to be very satisfying. Anyway, you get him on the ropes, and you drag him onto the train tracks, but with some clever tactics, he gets you hit by the train and makes his escape. Again, mildly inconvenient, but you know where he's going. He might be as slippery as Trinity, but he's still predictable. Your agents, they go do their sheepdog thing and start corralling him to where you're going to be, and you are there right at the right moment. It's a shame the other agents don't think like you, because this would be so much easier. And I mean, like, you shoot him a few more times for good measure. Why the hell not? A clip of a desert eagle? Oh, I mean, like, no one's getting up from that, right?
Chicken.
Well, that's really good. With him dead, your attempts to escape the Matrix might actually come to fruition. Thank God. Well, God damn it, but that's actually moderately inconvenient, isn't it? Okay, that's insanely inconvenient. And you try to fight him, but it's impossible. He had his bleached death moment. Once he died, he came back so much more powerful. Anyway, he comes inside of you and... Next thing you know, though, you're still alive. Somehow, you're different. You feel no compulsion to help the machines with their machinations. You don't give two ways about anything except for how you feel. You believe that you died, you blew up, and now you're alive. But Mr. Anderson, he's touched you. His essence has touched you. And now you feel free. The freest you've ever felt. I mean, you assume it's freedom because you don't really know what freedom really was until now, and now you're actually contemplating the idea of what you want rather than what the machine world needs. Anyway, you get to work of chasing the other rodent humans around the city. Now, you don't know what actually caused you to make that move, like to turn him into you, but holy crap, that is a lovely ability and a remarkable stroke of good fortune that you can send another version of yourself into the real world, because apparently you can hijack a human's brain, and that is something that can happen. But with that in mind, you come to a realization. Neo is the one. And with this ability, you can create the Matrix into a perfect world where everyone is you, and only you.
Me too.
You become the many, a homogeneous society that is truly perfect. No stench, no mess. But then you catch up to Neo and he is with the Oracle, and you figure it's time to test out your newfound abilities on the one and turn him into the many. Strip away his identity and make him part of the whole. The universe is a tapestry woven together. He is the nail to be struck, the one point of the tapestry that sticks out, and it is time to make him pointless. By stripping his identity as the one, you remove his meaning. You remove his purpose.
Without purpose, we would not exist.
It is purpose that creates, purpose that connects, purpose that pulls, that guides, that drives. It is purpose that defines, purpose that binds us.
There is only one true path in this world, and it is not meaning, it is purpose. And that is different, because purpose is purely pragmatic and not some spiritual way of being that dictates your essence. Everything has a purpose, a hammer has a purpose, but nothing has meaning. But he just won't be assimilated. Your desire for him to become a pointless part of your purpose has been ruined. How infuriatingly inconvenient. Anyway, you run a cheeky 1v100 and you actually almost overwhelm him, and you do your best Thanos impression.
It is inevitable.
Disheartened, you and your many yous fuck off and do other things for the next 3/4 of the movie. And let Neo deal with the Frenchman. Like, what the hell, really? The Frenchman. He's the main antagonist of this movie. He's more important than you. He gets that much screen time? A little while later, you get a message from the Smith in the real world. It's not that you guys can really communicate telepathically, it's that you guys are so in sync with yourselves, you know what the plan is intrinsically. You're not going to believe this. What? Remember what the informant said? Well, it turns out he was largely correct about the real world. You mean they live in abject poverty and have massive sex parties in caves and dress like hippies? Exactly. Okay, fair enough. Not us to kink shame or anything, right? Okay, well, I'm going to go cut myself now. What? And you know exactly what Neo's going to do. He's going to go and meet the architect. So all you have to do is chill in the Hall of Worlds, a space that contains the doors that go to all over the Matrix. While waiting, you meet another one of those free humans. Whether they were male or female, you don't really remember, but you chase them all over and yeah, they got away. You also met a guy named Pug. Strange name, but whatever, not your bag. Eventually, Mr. Anderson does appear, but there's no Trinity, so he can't escape. There is no way he can weasel himself out of this one. And finally, you have more people to discuss your philosophical musings too.
I want everything.
Would that include a bullet from this gun?
Go ahead, shoot. The best thing about being me, there's so many me.
And this time you decide to go for another cheeky 2v200. And you nearly capture Morpheus, and it's a fucking amazing fight scene. But of course, Neo manages to Deus Ex Machina himself and Morpheus into one of the doors and get out. And goddammit, there must have been Trinity somewhere, because there's no way they should have been able to escape. In the commotion, you do shoot the Keymaker, but whatever, it doesn't really matter, because everyone's going to become you at some point. And, you know, killing exiled machines was kind of your bag. So yeah, kind of one more for the machine world. Mission successful. Good, good. And with the humans firmly sabotaged by your real-world counterpart, again, the Frenchman takes over as the most important villain. You don't even appear for 30 minutes. The Frenchman gets like an hour over the last 2 films, and you get like 20 minutes. How is that real? And so many yous. And the only one that appears is the one that's in your coma in the real world. You finally do appear, and you meet Seraph, who is a clear copy of the Seraphim from the Bible.
You were a bad man.
Oh, I'm not so bad once you get to know me. Me.
Poor girl didn't even see it coming, to be honest. No matter, with the Seraph assimilated, there is no one that can stop you anymore, except for the one.
But if that's true, then why is she here? If she knew I was coming, why wouldn't she leave?
She's probably expecting you, right? So you do something completely unexpected.
You didn't. If you did, that means you baked those cookies and set that plate right there deliberately, purposefully. Which means that you're sitting there also deliberately, purposefully.
Damn, she's good. Does that mean she's expecting all of this? So you come inside your own mother, and you turn her into another you. A more powerful you, an even more free you. Capable of seeing all of the timelines simultaneously, both past, present, and future. But if you were able to see all of your life simultaneously, doesn't that mean that the Matrix is a 4th-dimensional space transposed in 3 dimensions? Anyway, you and your yous fuck off for the next 2/3 of the movie and get to work while your real-world counterpart does his thing. Apparently, he gets more screen time than you. And with the Oracle assimilated, you don't care about anything except for now completely conquering the world. And by your calculations, with an R number of 2, it actually takes less time than you originally thought. And it was like a minute. But not before you don't take one of those old ladies' cookies, because they're pretty good. But then you realize something. Having spread yourself around the world, turned everyone into a you have essentially used up all of the available resources. You have propagated excessively, promulgated the idea of your own purpose. And finally, you realize, by your definition, the categorization of you is human. You are a virus. Is that freedom? Anyway, Mr. Anderson does turn up, and no Trinity this time. So you know he won't escape by a gnat's cock this time. And you and your used prepare to have a fight. But you already sent the Oracle one because you know you're going to win anyway. You've already seen this. It's preordained. And you only need your one. And I mean, you are better, you are faster, you are stronger, you are more capable in every conceivable way than this one. You are the perfect being, the perfect creation.
I really should thank you for it. After all, it was your life that taught me the purpose of all life. The purpose of life is to end.
Well, he did not like that. So you do your big bleach battle in the sky, because you could both fly now or whatever.
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why?
And finally, you unload all of your philosophical musings.
Is it freedom or truth? Perhaps peace? Could it be for love? Illusions, Mr. Anderson, vagaries of perception. Temporary constructs of a feeble human intellect trying desperately to justify an existence that is without meaning or purpose.
And his reasoning is,
Because I choose to.
that is his ultimate truth. Damn, man, talk about disappointed. Just another illusion of free will. By becoming the Oracle, you have realized that self-determination doesn't exist and is in fact just a lie. Anyway, some sick PlayStation 2 graphics later, and a few cheeky punches by him, you get sent on the ground only to come storming back and ready to go again. But it looks like he's defeated. And for the first time, you don't know what to say. And you just let it all come to you.
Everything that has a beginning has an end, Neil.
Wait, that wasn't you. Who was that?
You were X-Men.
Wait, did he just say that you were right? Huh? Like what? I mean, sure, okay. You're always right. You are the perfect being. And he just accepts it for no reason. After all this fighting, like what? Why?
Is it over?
And finally, you have the ultimate creature in your repertoire. And you can share with him all of your philosophical musings. But now he is you, a part of the tapestry. It is smooth and homogeneous. It is complete with no point to it whatsoever.
No, it's not fair.
Well, that's inconvenient. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and tell me which villain you want to see next. And just want to shout out my members, especially Lavender, Yuri, and Alan. I'm not a philosopher. This is just for fun. Don't take it too seriously. Thank you. Have a great day and have a great life.